Hey, confirmation bees. How's everybody doing out there tonight? Or Grand Rising, whenever you may happen to get up and land on this video. Be right back in. Forces that be are very slick. I'll just give it to you guys. Welcome back first to another episode of Welcome Back to Zoe's Universe. Good old plane in the air, confirmation bees. Yeah, I guess that's what I had my new segment. Welcome back to Zoe's Life, I guess it was called. This is not a show. It's not for display. It's just me giving you in real time my spiritual downloads of what I'm thinking. Since everything's wired up anyways, we already know the gig's up. So there's no more to play games. But first and foremost, I appreciate you guys. We're all one, right? But there's lower entities and there's higher frequency entities that have made their choice on what direction they're going to go in, right? Like, for instance, I was talking to this lady last night, lady friend, right? That, I'm just going to say it. If I'm wrong, that you guys sent in. You guys are very slick, right? You guys know I love. So you guys sent in an agent. It may have not have been an agent at first, but my instinct, which is my soul, said that at first. But I also know I'm working through my PTSD. So I'm working on a lot of issues through 44 years. Like I let this person know last night that I'm working through 44 years of basically trauma and abuse. So you either can love me or leave me, right? And there was just a lot of things in the conversation last night that just led me to believe that, hey, I'm not talking to the person I thought I was talking to. There was a lot of MK Ultra abuse last night. I was feeling drained last night. And then my spirit showed me previous visions and downloads that I paid attention to, but not really deep because I was just blinded to. I was like, oh, it's not going to be her, which always happens, right? So last night, I just rewound the conversation and the energy and how synchronistic it was, and certain people I was thinking about when the $100 was brought up for buying new shoes for work, but you can't have dusty shoes, and just a lot of different things. A lot of things that was said to me last night about stop breathing, and just, if you know, you know. But you know when you're talking to people and they project certain things on you, and you're thinking to yourself quietly, like, why would you say that? You know, like my brother Marcus back in the day, we were joking, and I've always took quiet notes when me and Marcus were joking. He would just go left field and just say the most. Like I would go left field too, but it would just be not the same energy match. Like when me, Rolano, Marcus, and my Uncle John went to the funeral home to see my dad after he passed away, you know, the viewing, I guess, and then you talk to the mortician, if I'm saying that right. They talk to you about the services they provide. If he's a veteran, they can do the folding of the flag, and they can bury him for free if he's a veteran at the Crownsville burial ground, so forth, yada yada. But me and Marcus were joking because Rolano and Marcus were joking on me like they always do at the place, right? I guess that's what us hazes do. We just joke like my dad always did. Still does in spirit form, Obi-Wan form, if you know, you know. And we were joking, and then the lady was looking at me when we were walking into one room to the next room. She looked at me like, "You just gonna take this?" And I was like, "It's all good. I let them do that on purpose because they've always been jealous and envious of me. So I just let them have it. They're kids, you know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta give them false confidence." And then she started laughing. That was one interaction that we had in the hallway. Then we came back in the room, sat down, and we're talking about what they can provide for my dad, Robert Hayes, Lewis Hayes, that passed away. And then I said something to Mark's about it. Biggie Snoz, I always make fun of his nose, but our noses are the same, right? So he calls me a lot of jokes from like Living Color. I forgot. Damon Wayans when he was the drunk guy in a pickle jar. Him and Rico would always call me that guy. And yada yada, and impersonate his high school, his high pitched voice. And they would call me Handicap Man, and they would flop out the window seals. Not literally, but when we were joking back in the days, we would just crack on each other. I would call Rico Tom Cruise, any white actor on TV, we would call him that actor. Because he was light skinned amongst us, so we had our little inside jokes, hence I have a dark sense of humor. So I said something to Marcus, and then he looked at me and was like, "Oh, you could just be laid up with my dad. You could just be laid up with him." And then we all looked at each other right with the eyes of like concern, like, "Damn, that was just very morbid. That wasn't on the same frequency." Just like when Marcus came here earlier could have been this year. That was last year, and he helped me out with this apartment through Arlene Jackson, right, the housing community. So he was walking around this place. So every time him and Rico came in there, Rico came in my house apartment with a camera around his neck, like some Peter Porker shit, some Night Shift. If you know, you know. I think it's called Night Shift or Night Stalker or something like that. The actor that played Mysterio and Spider-Man with Tom Holland, Jake Jatherall or something. I butchered the name, but he was a journalist that just went hard, and I think it was like Night Stalker or something like that. But if you know, you know, a really good movie. So every time Marks and them came in here, they'll be looking on my shelves, looking through pictures and stuff like that. Rico would have a whack ass excuse. "Where's the picture of mom?" And I was like, "Well, the picture of mom wouldn't be underneath the dresser, okay?" Basically, something like spying shit. So I always called him out for that. And then Marcus came here one day, and he was looking around, I was like, "Man, this place could have been mine." I was like, "Damn!" In my head, I was like, "Shit, man, I was just homeless and shit. Thank you for helping me with the spot, but you all being salty that you helped me with the spot. You know what I mean? It's like some Indian giving type shit. The energy was off." And we were joking around again about something. I can't remember verbatim. But then he said something to the line that I wouldn't be here. And I was like, "What are you talking about? I wouldn't be here." And then he said something about this insurance. He said something, we were talking about insurance and about the house or something like that. And then I said a joke to him. And then he said, well, if the money that's coming in doesn't really matter because you're not going to be here. I notated that. I was like, "What are you talking about?" He was talking about the insurance. And then I'm hearing through Spirit and other tarot readers that there was a life insurance policy on me. So if I died, they get X amount of money in inheritance. They took me off the will, false marriage. Right? Okay. Right. You know, look at my previous videos, I'm only going backwards. So 747 on the timestamp. You know, you know. It's 11:11. But yada yada. So these off-putting remarks just makes more sense for what I'm going through now, to pick up pattern recognition of people to say slick shit and laugh at you and is not matching the story. Like for instance, when I tell someone what I'm going through and they have a dry reply, to me it's an automatic red flag, like, okay, well that's not the response anybody that has a concerning heart would give. Because I'm noticing the oblivious, or they trying to mirror similar situations to me so they can get closer to me. And then last night she said, when we were getting off the phone, and she texted me before this video, so I know they're watching now just to get me to shift my energy. She's like, okay, well, I'm not going to call her out, whatever. I'm not calling her out, but this is for a lesson for myself and for other collectives that are inspired, that when you think you're talking to someone you like, you got to be careful, not just to go with exterior looks. You got to go internal, see what that soul and heart do, and you take it day by day. Like I told her after, basically I told her, I was like, hey, I love our conversation last night, but after rewinding in my head, I just don't think we're going to be on the same path right now. Maybe down the road, I'll keep my number open. You know what I mean? I'm not shutting you off and telling you to fuck off forever, but right now, I just feel like we need to go our separate paths. Even though Pattern, this app called Pattern, says we're very compatible, but at the same time, I'm thinking all these apps can be manipulated, bada bings, and they can make you feel like you're compatible. So you can like, oh, my app says it, that's why I never do apps and do the moon signs and yada yada. I'm just going with the flow, right? And talk to my ancestors. So I'm not going to be a slave to some apps and some moon cycles and stuff until I'm destined to maybe follow that. So I remember Light Asifa said, I think months ago, that we're made and built with all the knowledge within us, right? All of our cells have memories and contain memories and so forth. So books was never there. We never had books. You know what I mean? The colonizers brought books into us to indoctrinate us and trap us underneath the covers and yada. This, yeah. Thank you. I don't want to go too deep on that. So these off-putting comments from my brothers and other people throughout my life, because I have a great short memory that they thought I wouldn't have, since now they're backtracking, attempting to hide evidence. But the gig's up; it's still being investigated. All right, the property's coming back to me. Like basically, the house, Marie's house in D.C., was my house. Every time I was there, she stole some neo tech books from me. By the way, trying always micromanaging my life. And I was a grown person, grown man still. How's she gonna take my books? But she would always use under the guise, well, you're under my house. If you don't like it, get your own house. Ironically, she was saying, get out of. This was funny when it hit me today. She was telling me with a puffy chest, but I felt the energy was something wrong when she told me, when she said it, but I didn't know. My soul did, but my flesh didn't. She was telling me to get out of my own house. So every time I was there, I was getting like special treatment. She's like, "Oh, anything you want," and it's just energy. She was basically saying, "You can get anything you want," because she knows it is my shit, but she had to play off the guys like it's her shit. And that gray Mercedes in the garage that I always was stroking, I was like, "Man, this is gonna be mine one day." She's like, "Yeah, right," over my dead body. Well, guess what? That car is 90s. We'll dust it off a little bit where I got the Turkish carpets back. And Rico's like, "Oh, where's my carpets? Where's my equipment?" So yeah, all the shit you threw away and you reached to Rico, said, "Oh, well, a lot of the shit I got rid of," and you never even took the audacity or the attempt to reach out to me through other channels. You know, George's ass, whatever. He could have reached out. Hope George is doing well, by the way, but everybody's involved. So basically, all Marie's properties are mine. So she's getting evicted. The 1837 Wimmer Courthouse is mine. Because my dad and me were watching a movie right around um, a few days before he passed away. It's like December 24th or something like that. We're watching a Christmas Story or something like that. Where this it was a black and white film, and the guy at the end of the movie was attempting to save his bank from this rich crony or whatever that was controlling the markets, corner the market. And the dude that was attempting to save his bank, which was doing it the legal way, his clients like forked up the money so he could keep his bank open enough to allow the next day to get the proper money to keep his bank open, right? So during that movie, my dad grabs a pad and says, "So give me a pad," and he was attempting to write something. And my soul was telling me he's about to say something because, unfortunately, he knows he's about to transition, right? We all know that. We all came to terms, which we all talked about what my dad's final wishes was for us to get along, love each other, right? We all agree. So I had a feeling that he was going to tell me something about the will, or what he's something about money, because we were watching the scene about the bank, and then he just had his eyes open up. So he wasn't really talkative at times, and sometimes you just had to read his body language. If you know him, you know. And he was about to say something. Then he called Mark. He's like, "Call Marcus." And he calls Marcus, and Marcus comes in there looking all nervous. And then I'm looking at him sitting on a chair. My dad's in the bed to my left. And I'm looking at Marcus, and I was like, "All right, well, sit down. Dad wants to talk to us about something." And Marcus is like hesitant to sit down. And then he looks at Dad, like, "Oh, no, it's not the time now. You need to rest. We'll talk about it later." Basically, not verbatim, but to those degree. Dad's looking at me with his mouth open. And he still attempts. I was like, "Go ahead, if you want to, write it." But he was dozing off because he was on some medicine and morphine type shit, which I believe they poisoned him off, yada yada, which I keep on getting downloads about that. And they killed my mom, Janet Oberhaze, off some shit. Yeah, there's some foul ass people, right? If I'm wrong, prove me wrong. Make your last move your best move, right? That's where we're at now. You already got my place wired up, so every reader that you paid for, they're saying things that only they would know. I'm seeing you're very OCD, and you're, putting salt in front of your doors and doing this and going outside in PJs. It's just, as soon as I remove this panel under my window, I'm hearing clicks every time I grab my tablets or phone. Click, recording shit. So I'm just flicking y'all off now, but just enjoy the fucking show. When I told Marcus about this months ago, I was like, "Hey man, how do you think it feels to be recorded?" Then he was in his apartment in Annapolis, Maryland, up the road from my dad's house. I think off the Fence Highway, yada yada. Admiral, whatever. I forgot this place he's staying at. Regatta Bay, I think that's what it is. Up the street from Best Buy, yada yada. When I was at his house telling him about, hey, getting some reactions like, "Yo, help me out with this shit. Megan, the fake draconic priestess, is hacking my shit, doing witchcraft, all this crazy shit. What the fuck? Would you like to be invaded on your privacy and record? And then he said right away, well, I'm probably getting recorded right now, so don't even worry about it. As soon as he said that, I notated that too. I was like, okay, yeah, he's a part of this. So just everything is coming together when the time is right. So just for you guys, 1513 on the timestamp. If you're new, my name is Alonzo Darrell Hayes. That's the name I'm given. I was born October 8th, 1981, John Hopkins, Baltimore, Maryland, on a Thursday at 9:15 a.m. is what my birth certificate says, right? Okay. So all of this has been orchestrated from the jump. It is what it is. Let's kind of lose some track on that. So, oh yeah, I'm just getting certain memories when I need to know, on a need to know basis, so I can just stay loving and keep it moving. Hence, relocation is definitely a necessity. You see the people that are paid off by everybody, the power of three, and oh, never mind, I don't need to rewind that. But it's just when you tell people your story and they seem dry, non-passion, or have no empathy about it, seem to start acting weird, you already know they're ratting themselves out. They're part of it. And how their abusive reaction abuse, how that works on out. It's about psychology. You got to know the abuse of human, which is sad, but just if you learn how the brain operates and how the human condition works in this social construct world, a lot of things will start clicking like puzzle pieces. It literally is like Neo when he sees the code and he just stops the bullets because he knows what it is. I'm at that stage now. And it's fun and awareing at times and can be scary, frightening in a good way, right? What you're really capable of every day, you're learning something different. So when you see people projecting on you, it's like, oh, you're this, and you're sitting there like, man, that's the problem right there. You guys are the cancer. The ones, if the shoe fits. You see the cancer in the community, and that's how they're keeping their glass ceilings because they're clicky. So they say certain things if they're threatened by people like me. They keep lower frequency, not as strong for the mental fortitude for you to pick up on it. So they keep you just with their highest subscriber numbers. They most likely paid, or they have other people. It's just a clicky club. And if you're not fake, you're not in it. So if you're real and authentic and you just speak your mind, you cuss, you do whatever freely with no filter, and they bash you and character defamation, false narratives, and they do this on overdrive when they have to hire private investigators. I know people say, why you keep on reliving the same narrative? I don't even care about that no more because I'm the villain in your story. I'm the hero in a lot of other people's story. It is what it fucking is. Okay, so I don't need to explain it, but I'm an honest guy, so I keep it honest for my true gravitating collective that are appreciative of my material and are flattered and inspired and not pirates and thieves and so-called destiny swappers going to Walgreens or Walmart and going into aisle 8 and getting the 101 witch baby magic spells that doesn't work. You hire agitators upstairs, frequencies, all this stuff. It just doesn't work. People are surprised when you change. You know, you thought I was going to always be the the Eric Bana version of the Hulk, and then I became the Edward Norton version of the Hulk. Working on my breathing. You didn't expect them to see the smart Hulk. The tight blue shirt eating pancakes and a whole bunch of scrambled eggs and having kids taking pictures. You didn't expect that. Right? You didn't expect the director's son to look directly in the camera during the movie, but they kept it in there. But I said, no, you gotta, you broke the fourth wall, all right? But come on now, you know. Suspension of disbelief. If you know, you know. Theater, come on now. No scratchers. But I mean, it's just so elementary now. And then when I was looking at it last night, I was like, they attempted to send another Black Widow in, hit me with this fake ass shit on. I hope you don't fall down the stairs, break your neck. Well, you had to experience it, you know what I mean? Maybe you may stop breathing one day. And I went through so much spiritual shit, man. Sometimes I feel like I don't even want to be here, you know? I need to tell you about that. Damn, there's a girl passed out outside with a short skirt, underwear exposed, rides a motorcycle. Her and her boyfriend are always arguing and shit. And she just drove off, and I need to go, so I'll call you right back. And then during that phone call, people outside were talking all loud, they lighting fireworks that sound like gunshots, thinking I'm gonna be scared. Just these little fucking stage sound effects, thinking I'm gonna. I look outside my window about an hour ago. I see two police cars sitting out there, and I was like, man, I hope they ain't trying another attempt to come in here, puffy chested. Hey, sir, we heard that you're just being real, and you got to stop being real, okay? You're threatening these fake people around you. I don't even like the fact that you're being real. I don't even like the color of your skin, my friend. But I'm going to tell you this. This is all wired anyways. You already know that we were being investigated by the FBI, but we were hired. I don't want you to see the money in my breast pocket. That's where the camera's supposed to be at. Let me cover that up. All right, but we're here to attempt to threaten you, but we can't really threaten you because we're corrupt as shit too. There's only probably two people out of the billion cops here that actually do their job. We haven't threatened them. We haven't told them, rubbing their picture of their kids on their desk. Hey, we know where your kids go. Say, ain't gonna do shit. So yeah, there's a lot of people that ain't doing shit. There's a lot of judges that's just getting blowjobs by a bunch of fees and whatever the key may be. All right, there's a lot of people doing some foul things for some coins. All right, there's a lot of people that are just catching STDs and all types of fishy shit and having the bada bings, and they walking around here freely giving it to people. So that's a death sentence as it is, man. They're going straight down to hell, past the purgatory, past Dante's Inferno. I don't even know where they're going, but they're not getting regenerated. So they gamble, they made their bed, they think it's cute, playing with other people's lives, and okay. And God has shown me what it is. Thank you, like, for your latest video earlier yesterday, I believe. It was past midnight, I believe. Oh yeah, happy thank you. Everything worked out. Okay. It's 125 by the bay. All right. If you know, you know. Yeah, so it's Sunday. So happy Sunday, July 5th on my side of the planet. Can't wait to read that text message. But yeah, still no love lost, tough love, but it's just when you see through the bullshit, you see the black widows they send in, and if I'm wrong, prove me right, right? Make your last move your best move. That's just my approach from now on. People are just too cute. They send in messages, they rat themselves out the very next day. Silence is power, right? And they tell you the whole game plan. You just gotta put the puzzle pieces together, listen to the keywords 2249, slow battery. So if it cuts off, you know the gist. It's 2252. That was dope. 77, you know, you know. So wherever it cuts off, you know the gist. Beware, use your discernment. If you are a special gifted one like the X-Men and the world hates you and they're trying to kill you, murk you off, silence you because they're threatened by your power because they think you're going to take over the human civilization and get rid of all humans, yada yada. Basically an analogy, light versus the dark, okay? The low frequencies are scared, the higher frequencies is going to overpower them, right? Like I love hearing this 1,000 years of peace treaty with Jay Gold, postmaster. I need to get your whole name right. It's like a three-part name, and I only get like two of the three of your name correct, I believe. I may be saying that dyslexic, but Jay Gold, postmaster, that is putting forth in the universe 1,000 years of peace treaty, basically getting rid of the corrupt military, getting rid of all the corrupt fake politicians since the government's been shut down since 1999. It's a fiction. It's a fiction government. Do your research. Private versus public. Look up Paul Michael, Creditors Academy. Very good source of knowledge to, and he'll probably post up a live as soon as I've done this. Sometimes look up him to get the knowledge of how to become private versus public, and yada yada. It's good knowledge. You'll learn a lot of how behind the Wizard of Oz curtain actually operates. A lot of people are stuck still in the stuck still in an illusion. They're NPCs, indoctrinated so much so when people and algorithms like me come into play, they get agitated by that because that means they have to reorganize their whole lifestyle. Hence, they do what they do to my devices and listen so they can attempt to get a heads up, but I'm so unpredictable, they can't expect the unexpected. I can't be contained like Michael Jordan. That's just what it is. So they're on surface level shit, get what they can get, hack whatever emails they can, do the little petty shit, since they know they're going to die anyways. Their soul's already in God's hands, and God is going to alley oop that bitch to the devil. And, NBA jam the bitch until the backboard breaks. So it's done. All right, the shoes are on fire. He's on fire. She's on fire. So like it's already done deal. Um, and you just got to be aware of the course of action because they're super desperate. And once you have that vision, then you can steer clear again of those pitfalls. I may have been redundant. It's kind of trailing off because I think I'm going to wrap this video soon. I'm just glad I avoided another forehead wiper because when you want to find someone, you're talking to someone, you don't want to feel drained. You don't want to feel like I was feeling my old school relationships. I love to be in relationships, but I always felt like I was containing a part of myself. I told her last night I loved our conversation because it's challenging me like I'm looking for in a wife. I don't want a yes woman, a yes. Yes, 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 right? You don't want a yes man, you don't want a yes woman, right? You want to be challenged so you can grow. So I like that about her. And we were led into each other's life for a reason. There's always a reason, there's always a lesson. Somebody used to say blessings are lessons, but I like saying blessings because it's a different connotation. Be very careful of the words we speak off our tongue. They're either life or death. Remember that. God says that. You can't serve two masters. You can either serve one or the other. If you're lukewarm, God will spit you out. Bada bing. All the hands. What's it called? The power of Jericho. The Jericho touch either. So a lot of people, like you were saying last night, man, it's sad, but a lot of people choose contracts and just being killers, rip your heart out and just doing foul shit. But man, that's how people sign up before they come here, man. So people can either abide by their contract or go against it. That's the power of free will. She was laughing about it too. And I was like, in my mind, I was just, it felt very nasty, but it's a real truth to swallow. It's like, yeah, people do have the free will to be nasty as fuck, disrespect God, not believe in God, perpetrate, wear Halloween mask, and have their communities believe in one thing. But since they're so surface level and they're not genuine, the surface level can only last so long. Hence, anybody that follows the devil only gets temporary benefits. It may be 5, 10 years. It's still temporary. It's not longevity. And the devil gets you at the lowest times. And people get that fake offer of you want to continue and you better sacrifice someone you love dearly. And that's when you see the patterns throughout Hollywood, all these people they love. And what's his name? I think it was ASAP Rocky. Was talking about every album I do, man. Unfortunately, someone passes away. If you know, you know. You see him doing the seances and the cover artwork and his music videos. He's just doing all the witchcraft shit. You gotta pay the devil, man. The devil, you gotta pay the price in blood, unfortunately. If you know, you know. Hence, they call it the red carpet. Hence, I'm not gonna be on no red carpets if I can help it. I'm gonna be on the gold carpet of God. I'm a God star. I'm no longer a rock star. Besides, these rock star sounds cool. You embrace both the light and the dark, so there's nothing wrong. I'm not throwing shade here, but on the red carpet, it means you got to sacrifice. You got to give blood to be on this carpet. Hence, the blood, all the blood that was spilled for you to be here. Hence, the red carpet. All right, if you know, you know. So I'm not a part of none of that sacrificial shit. Hence, I'm glad God navigated me and the rest of my ex-bandmates out of that. Some of them may have been guided back into it in a different way. So it is what it is. People who are involved that are playing ignorant, amnesia, just y'all made your bed, you lie in it too. I'm just glad I'm upgrading. My isolation is teaching me what I need to learn, the unknown zone, and I'm operating it in that direction. I'm no longer gonna keep on looking for answers, I guess, through my collective that I thought was my collective. Because I have a soul contract with all of y'all, fortunately and unfortunately. And I believe it's for it's all fortunate because we forgive everyone who trespasses against us and God anyway. So it's all fortunate when you have the perspective to look at it as a lesson. So I'm not clinging on to no old past. A lot of people are just talking, maybe projecting, or maybe giving good advice. Like I'm supposed to just get over it right away when you've been through 44 years of learning. You've been a tool for other people to live a beneficial life, and you just been some damn Joseph that was sold off, and then you become the right hand of the Pharaoh, and then you control the finances and all Egypt during the 7 years of famine and the 7 years of plentiful. The lands overabundance of crops and so forth. There wasn't a shortage of water and shelter, yada yada. You know what I mean? The weather was good. Boom. So that's what happened with Joseph. He was betrayed by his brothers, tossed in a pit, sold off to slavery the next day, took the coat their dad gave Joseph, a multicolored coat meaning multiple personalities, if you know the parables. And they were jealous of Joseph because Joseph was telling him, his brothers and the father and the mother's there, the dreams he had. And they were jealous of that he was chosen. And so the next day they were hunting. Joseph was behind with his father Jacob, I believe. And Jacob told Joseph to go check on your brothers, make sure the flock is all safe. And then while Joseph was going to find his brothers to make sure everybody was safe, they were conniving and planning to get rid of him. And then one of the brothers was like, "No, let's don't kill him. Let's just put him in the pit, keep him there, teach him a lesson." And in his head, quietly, he was going to go rescue his brother out of the pit because he wasn't thinking about taking it that far. I think that brother separated to do something. He came back, and then some travelers came, slave catchers basically, and the rest of the brothers sold Joseph off to those slave catchers for a hefty bag. And then they came up with a evil, sadistic plan to ruin the code, put some smeared blood from an animal they killed, and take it back to the father saying, "Oh, your favorite son was killed. This must have happened when we were hunting or looking for us." Make a story that Mother Nature killed. So put the heart of the father at shame and heartbreak for years. And then luckily they had to go to Egypt during the famine when they were shortage of food. Joseph was running everything, noticed his brothers. They didn't recognize him, so he put him through test. He put one of the brothers in prison, told them to bring back the youngest brother back to Egypt, knowing that would hurt the father because the father supposedly lost Joseph. So it's all a moral lesson, parables that we should all learn in life. Don't treat somebody foul and don't misjudge a book by its cover. So they brought the youngest brother back, even though the father was heartbroken about doing it. He was very reluctant for some time until they had to go and get the food, otherwise they would die off. So Joseph treats the younger son like royalty, basically. He feeds the older brothers, and then he reveals, long story short, that he's Joseph, and he had to test them first to see if they were really sorrowful and remorseful for what they did to him, and they ended up being remorseful. So they learned the lesson, and then they brought back the father from where they were at to Egypt, and then the Pharaoh took care of Joseph's family as long as they lived there, gave him the biggest plot of land, and Joseph was highly favored and remembered for his good time in Egypt during his reign. And there was multiple times in Egypt, in Israel, basically went through times of remembering the good times God provided for them and led them out of Egypt, and then they would forget all the good that God did, and they'll start worshiping idols. I'm seeing the symmetry now, like the ups and downs. People get disconnected from God, then they go to darkness for a period of time. Then a prophet gets sent in to enlighten these people as best as possible. Like Yeshua said to his disciples, "Hey, I'm going to spread you across the land. You're going to be amongst wolves, and you're going to be sheep amongst wolves," or something like that. But you got to be a good shepherd and bring as many of my sheep back home. It's a narrow road to come home. You got to do the right thing, which is tough. Shadow work people don't want to do, no accountability. Or the wide, narrow road that a lot of people are corrupted NPCs indoctrinated by the devil and the devil's influences get quick money as long as you bash this and you'll be obedient. We see the obvious distinction of the two: devil time, God time. And so God sends a prophet down when the frequencies are low and it needs to be risen up, and love needs to be brought back into the atmosphere. And that's what I do amongst other people that are high vibrating. Hence the system, the matrix. They just don't like us, and they do anything to shadow ban us, put us in these programs and try to destiny swap, harvest our energy, Neuralink, all types of shit to just put us off in some crazy asylum. Okay, that's what they've been doing for eons. But I was the last person they messed with, and my ancestors are fed up with that shit. Hence, justice is served. It was 35-31. If you know, you know. So 9-9. Right? 35, 31, 6, 6. That was 12. Shit. No, my math is off. But I love you guys. There'll be more to uncovering how to spot black widows and agents and plants that are set up in your life just to siphon some energy from you and mislead you because they know you're a loving person. So that's why you don't tell your plans to the world, because they'll do anything to manipulate it. But God has everything ordained for me, and not only God has everything ordained for me. I laugh because I find myself speaking fast when the downloads come in. So nothing can be taken. And anybody that does come, which I'll say this now, anybody that comes with nasty energy towards me, that energy instantly gets transmuted into wealth, health, financial freedom, forever protection from all devilish, sabotaging, harmful, or deadly energies for me and my family lineage forever. And you all that were throwing that nasty energy towards me or any of God's chosen will be forever cursed, you and your whole family lineage, until you or your family down the line, if you have that grace by God to have reproduction or be reincarnated, you will be forever cursed until you fully repent the proper way for all the lives you damaged and stolen, wiped off for your own nasty, gluttonous reasons. So we love you. I'm going to microphone drop on that. We still love out here. We must love. That's the key. Love, be authentic, and be inspiring to people that are going through some shit. But they took advantage of that protective energy, but that's all coming to a close. July 12th will be here soon. Today's July 5th, so we got 6 days left. Let's see what God has in store for everybody that is following God's plan. If not, God has the dates. I just had July 12th in my mind for some reason, so it's all up to God on that. Don't shoot the messenger. Love you. Take care. Stay real and authentic. Don't be fearful. Stay far away from projections. If you know, you know. And for all this invasion of privacy, I hope you guys had fun looking in and beating off and sex trafficking, all that shit you did to me. Trust me, God has a special day for all of y'all. Take care. All right. Stay exposing people. All right. Stay irritated too. Hesitate on that. Stay irritated, all right? Because I'm super comfy.